to my house, my house, my house. Come over to our house, it's story time. Come over to our house, our house, our house. Come over to our house, it's story time. It is now time to talk about the YWCA and what they do to work so hard to make it possible to do what seems to be the impossible. Welcome everyone, my name is Jearlyn Steele and I am your host today. I am a singer, a keynote speaker, entertainment reporter, talk show host for 23 years, a mother of 2, a grandmother of 3, a grad student at Luther Seminary, and I am getting a degree in leadership and innovation in ministry. Thank you. Well, on behalf of YWCA St. Paul, I welcome everyone here at the St. Thomas Plaza and all that are joining us virtually. Welcome, welcome. I am delighted to be your host, as I said a moment ago, as we celebrate an evening of music, sweet eats, and mission. I'd like to do a special thanks to Thomasina and her band for the wonderful music that they performed this evening. Thomasina, by the way, is a triple threat. What does that mean? She's an actress, a singer, a writer, and producer. And we have truly enjoyed her music in the past, thus far, and even tonight. She and her band will be back at the closing of this evening, so don't go anywhere. I see everyone has a great seat on the plaza. I can literally look at each and every one of you in your face. It's just beautiful. And I hope those of you joining us from home have a comfortable spot, because we've got quite a show for you. All we're asking is that you bring yourself, bring your support right here tonight. Now, some of you may have already donated to support YWCA St. Paul, and we say thank you. Thank you so much. Our goal today is to raise at least $85,000, and that's where you come in. To get in on the fun, there are 3 ways to give. You can utilize the QR code shown on your tables or on the 2 screens to each of my sides. You can go to the website at www.ywcastpaul.org/Sweet Success and follow the prompts. Number 3, for those on the plaza, you may use the pledge envelope at your tables or visit our finance table where you checked in at registration. Now, donations made to Sweet Success 2022 will qualify for a generous match from the Hardenberg Foundation. Bravo. We hope you've had time to mingle, to meet people, and to visit the YW program tables. And if you are joining via the live stream, we still have more fun to share. So, I invite you to sit back and let us sweeten your evening. I don't know about you. Did you open your box and see what's in that box? That's a whole lot of sin. It's a cupcake that's ridiculous, y'all. So do enjoy that. I'd like to start by inviting our mayor, but he is not here with us yet. He is to come in just a moment, so we'll be back with him in just a moment. So now I'd like to invite YWCA's CEO, Gay Adams Massey, to join me on stage. Oh, there she is.
Thank you, Jearlyn. I'm so happy to join you in welcoming our audiences tonight. It's great to see so many of you in person, and we so appreciate your support of Sweet Success. You know, we're on a mission here at YWCA St. Paul. We're focused on fighting racism, gender inequity, homelessness, and employment and educational disparities. We help people meet their health and wellness goals. Facing a pandemic over the last 2 years has been tough on all of us in a lot of ways. Hopefully, it seems like we're finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the losses and challenges that the pandemic brought are still with us. And the people served by YWCA St. Paul have been especially hard hit. From the early days of the pandemic, we focused on meeting emergency needs and helping people struggling with loss. loss of loved ones, lost jobs and incomes, lost homes, and lost stability. We've also worked to support our young people who have fallen behind in school and who are coping with rising levels of anxiety and depression. The work YWCA St. Paul does, connecting people to resources and helping people build skills for better jobs, achieve housing stability, pursue academic success, and maintain health, has never been more important. Our housing, employment, and youth development programs serve people who fight to overcome barriers to their success and their family stability every single day. It's no coincidence that our programs address areas of significant racial disparity in Minnesota. Our work to help our community come together to address racism and work for racial justice also has very special urgency. Our racial justice education programs offer community members a deeper understanding of the history and impact of race and racism in our country and in our state, and the ways each of us can work for change. As our country grapples with the recent hate-driven killings in Buffalo, as well as the recent mass shooting of children in Texas, our grief and our anger must motivate us to continue to advocate, educate, and fight for hearts and minds and for policy change that supports the world we want to see. This is the work of YWCA St. Paul. There's a Kenyan proverb, "Sticks in a bundle are unbreakable." We believe this concept reflects the power of caring communities, the greater strength and impact of working together. The services we offer strengthen each person who passes through our doors, but the true strength comes from the broader community of empowered individuals and families that we are building. I want to invite everyone attending this event and everyone watching online to join us in this important work and consider making a gift tonight. Now, Jearlyn, the real stars of this show tonight are the people we serve. So I'd like to share Ashley Freeman's story, one of this year's Sweet Success Participant Honorees, a woman we were privileged to partner with on her journey to independence. So here is Ashley's video.
It was just me and my daughter at that time. And the disappointment on her face of the miles we used to walk to try and get food the entire time that I was in shelter. I worked. My daughter was in daycare, and I pushed every single day. I could not stand to sit around and just give up. I don't know how to give up. I knew that I wanted something different for my daughter and for my son, and something needed to be done, and I just needed a lifeline, and the YWCA absolutely gave me that. Finding out about the YWCA Transitional Housing Program absolutely changed our lives from that homelessness to now we've been in several different apartments from that point of 2014. I was working at Children's Hospital of St. Paul, and COVID happened, and I had to make a very difficult decision. Working in an emergency room, being immunocompromised, and I had to consider, if I catch this and I'm not there for my babies, could I live with that? Making the decision to leave the ER was one of the hardest things I have ever done. With working so much and so hard and so long to get to a place that you've dreamed about, that was literally just a dream for a little girl growing up in Gary, Indiana, in such a rough neighborhood, in such a rough type of time, to get to that point and have to leave it I was in a really low place mentally. Now what? Where do I go from here? Being connected with the Y and Miss Eileen and the work that they do over there, the people they have there are amazing. They really care about who you are and try to push you toward that success and let you know that you can do it. I do not know where I would be without the YWCA. They have opened my world to so many different opportunities, and I feel like the YWCA absolutely restored what was already in me but may have been lacking because of being beat up by life. The joy that I see in my kids' eyes when we're here cooking and dancing and doing our normal routine makes my heart smile.
If that didn't move us, then we need to check ourselves, I believe. I'm from Gary, Indiana as well, and it's quite remarkable the difference in the different communities there, just like it is here in Minnesota, so I'm so honored to hear her speak of her journey at the YWCA. Well, the mayor has arrived, so shall we welcome our own St. Paul Mayor, Mr. Carter.
Good afternoon. Wow, that mic is hot. Or maybe I'm just talking loud. Good afternoon. It's great to see. There are so many reasons to be glad to be here today. You know, I'm Melvin Carter and I'm the mayor of St. Paul. And I'll tell you, I tell folks a lot, you know that saying, it takes a whole village to raise a child? I often tell folks that's me. Because I grew up just surrounded by adults in this community who were determined to see us succeed, sometimes whether we wanted to or not. And so I laughed a little bit when I heard Jearlyn Steele call me Mr. Carter because she's someone who has been in my life as a mentor, as a teacher, as an elder, and by the way, an amazing, fantastic, ridiculously incredible performer all of my life. And so it's a blessing to see you here. Certainly always, where'd Thomasina go? Certainly always a good reason to be somewhere when you're singing, so I appreciate you being here. But also, we're here to celebrate our ability as a community to create community for one another. We're here to celebrate our ability as a community to wrap that village not just around one kid whose parents knows how to center him and his siblings around kind of some really great people, but how do we take that level of community care and take it to scale? That was important when I was young. That was important when I started my political career. But let me tell you, over these last 2 years, that's particularly important right now. You know, I would challenge you that if you know someone in your life who has not been through some level of crisis, some level of trauma over these last 2 years, that you probably don't know that person that well. We have all been through trauma. We have all been through crisis. And one of the things that we found out, and I'll nerd out for just 1 second if you don't mind. One of the things that I've learned as I've worked in like the space of early childhood development is this concept of the difference between toxic stress and tolerable stress. See, toxic stress is the stress that happens on us and on young children, of the stresses of life that can actually break us and they can actually hurt us and create long-term harm for the rest of our life. Tolerable stress, and this is just, and I'm probably a terrible person to do it, but I'm just rephrasing what I've read in terms of like brain development science. Tolerable stress is the kind of stress that solidifies us. It makes us stronger. It makes us better capable to handle the stress for the rest of our lives. The intriguing thing about the difference between the two is that one of the defining characteristics of the difference between toxic stress that breaks us and hurts us and tolerable stress that builds us and makes us stronger, one of the defining differences has to do not with the stress itself, but with the support systems around us. It has everything to do with young children, with how their parents, how their teachers, how their community members, how their families, how their support system, how those community workers help them to navigate and address those stress. With the family, it has everything to do, not just with what the stress is, about how our community helps us to navigate through that stress. I say all that to say this. We are in the midst of trauma. Not just this century, not just this decade, this week, today. We're in the middle of trauma. We saw what happened in Texas this week. We know that this is the 2-year anniversary of the murder of George Floyd right here in our community. We know that our community members over the last 2 years have been more unemployed, have been hungrier, have been more socially isolated, have been more homeless than ever before in the history of our community. The work of creating community care and just coming together and caring for one another is absolutely critical. We're having a big conversation about what it means to keep our communities safe. And we've learned in St. Paul of the difference between emergency response and public safety. See, emergency response is important. It's about after something terrible has happened, getting someone there, a police car, ambulance, a fire truck there, as soon as possible. That's important and it's sacred work, but it's not public safety. Public safety is about safeguarding ourselves, safeguarding our blocks, safeguarding our families, safeguarding our homes, safeguarding our community with the types of proactive investments that we need to reduce the likelihood that something terrible will happen and cause us to call 911 in the first place. And I say that just to say that if we're talking about an equitable city, if we're talking about a safe city, if we're talking about a city of opportunity, then we're talking about not just having folks to show up in an emergency, but we're talking about having people to be able to get a job, having people to be able to have a roof on their head, having people know how to feed their children, having people be connected to community in ways, and that the YWCA does all of it. All of it. And that's why I'm a supporter of the YWCA, not just because I'm a kid who grew up in the neighborhood with the YWCA and used to go in there and go swimming and go in there and go working out and go in there and go to some of the programs that they do. Not just because I was a city council member for the area that the YWCA is in, and I got a chance to partner with the YWCA on a whole host of amazing things, from housing folks to making sure that helping people in our community get their commercial driver's license and get jobs, and people who have gone from homelessness to being able to have a pension through these types of programs that we've done with the YWCA. But here's the thing. People ask me all the time, Mayor, what's one thing? What's one thing we could do to give every child, every family, just the best chance at life? And my answer has always been the same for the last decade. The one thing that I think that we could do that would be most instrumental at giving kids a fighting chance in our community is completely abandon the logic and the notion that we're looking for one thing to help families and children out. The one thing we could figure out is that those children, those families, there's no such thing as the word those. It's just us. That those families work the same way as ours do. We need housing, we need food, we need all of those things to be in that full ecosystem. And the reason I'm always excited to support, and I don't know this might be my 10th year supporting the Sweet Success event, but one of the reasons I'm always excited to be here is because this is an organization that operates in all of those spaces at the same time. And that is exactly what we need as a community. The biggest frustration as mayor, especially these last couple of years, is the number of ambitions that I have for this community with no magic wand. And so we need partners. We need partners to help us. And I'm excited that the YWCA has always been one of those partners for me, but I know the YWCA needs partners too. So I thank you for being here. I thank you for your support for the YWCA. I'm asking you to support this organization, not just with our hopes and prayers and our thoughts and prayers, but to really open your wallet and support this organization with your generous giving, your generous gifts. You're doing that really not just for the YWCA, this fantastic organization. You're not even doing it just for our incredible director who we have here, Gay Adams Massey, who's been a teacher, a mentor, a friend, a colleague of mine for a number of years. You're doing it for the community members, for the children and families, for the folks you saw on that video. And in doing that, the lesson of this pandemic has been, we've learned it. What we've learned is that if you don't have a home when it's time to shelter in place, if you can't take a week off of work when it's time to quarantine or care for a sick child, that if you can't go straight to the doctor when you have symptoms, then I'm less safe. And so when you give to this organization, when you support this work, you're not just supporting Gay, you're not just supporting this organization, you're not just supporting the board, you're not just supporting the families you see on the video, but in doing this, we are supporting ourselves as well. So thank you for being here, thank you for your support, thank you for giving deeply, and I look forward to seeing you in community as we continue to be teammates in this work. Thank you much.
My goodness, I don't know about you, but I felt like I went to church for a moment.
That's right, let's take off right now.
Gay, come on up. All right, so first of all, the mayor was really inspiring for me. I got a little teary-eyed. I've known him since he was quite young. And I'm also so excited about the inspiring story that we heard from Ashley. It was remarkable.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I find myself inspired daily, Jearlyn. And another thing that inspires me is really the generous support we receive from our community partners. You know, our premier sponsor for this event is 3M Open, and I'd like to invite Mike Welch to come up to the stage. He's the tournament director for 3M Open. I'm so glad you're able to join us in person, Mike. And thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. You know, the first rule in public speaking is know who you follow after. So here I am. You know, I was going to break out in song, but then Jearlyn had to go and screw that up with her intro. And then you follow one of the most dynamic mayors in the entire country. But I am excited to talk about the 3M Open and our support of YWCA St. Paul. For those of you that don't know about the 3M Open, we're a PGA Tour golf tournament at TPC Twin Cities in Blaine this July 18th and 24th. And our mantra at the 3M Open is Golf That Matters. One of the big pillars of our Golf That Matters platform is charity. If you didn't know, the PGA Tour and all of its tournaments are a nonprofit, and what we do is we raise money for charities. Last year, the PGA Tour reached the $3 billion mark across all of its tournaments. And each year, the 3M Open gives over $1.5 million to local charities here in the Twin Cities region. We've been so honored and proud to support Gay and the folks at YWCA St. Paul over the last 2 years. We've been able to take part in great programs such as Career Pathways. We've had our staff and our volunteer base come down to the facility and pack welcome baskets for those families that are entering stable housing for the first time. And then, of course, today, as the premier sponsor of Sweet Success, it is so wonderful to see all of the support from all of you folks to lean into what YWCA is doing to eliminate racism and empower women. Empowering women and inclusion is very important at the 3M Open. We have a year-long Leadership That Matters platform that introduces current female leaders to future female leaders. We get them in professional and personal settings throughout the course of the year. Sometimes they're at golf courses, sometimes they're at women-owned restaurants, sometimes they're at companies of the organizations that support Leadership That Matters. But what's key is we're putting them in the same personal and professional circle to make sure that they can further their relationship. What is the path that they took so that these future female leaders can understand that? We are confident through the support of not only the 3M Open, but all of you, that some of the folks that have come through the YWCA St. Paul program, through the Career Pathways and mentorship programs, will be a part of our Leadership That Matters platform for years to come. We're just so excited for that. So we thank you for the partnership. We're proud to support this for the third year after the 2022 3M Open and look forward to those programs are working together. So thanks for your time.
I so enjoy that. I want to say thank you again to Mike because he knew exactly what he was here to say, and it gave me more clarity about 3M Open. Now, of course, Mike, we want you to know as you walk away that we are so honored that you are a part of this and that 3M Open would support such an powerful thing. However, feel free to add an extra 0 to that, and I'll sing for you anytime you want. Thank you, Mike. All right. This support that you are getting is quite amazing, Gay. It's quite amazing. And as I get to know her, I love her more and more. Ashley's story was inspiring indeed. But we have another guest who has also made significant strides and experienced such great success that we wanted to include her story too. So please welcome our next Sweet Success Participant Honoree, Terriana Banks. Terriana, please come on up and share a little bit of your journey with us.
Welcome, Terriana. You're going to do great.
Hello, everyone. I am Terriana Banks, and I am very excited to be here today to share my story about Strive program. My personal coach is Holly Marshall, and the YWCA has been an important piece on helping me get to where I am today. During the time I was struggling and I really needed help, I heard about Strive through a program called C2I. I was living from couch to couch and living from shelters, and also trying to make sure I had food every day was very challenging. Knowing that I was saving up for a place to call home. Now I have a good paying job, and I've been working there for a year. I can manage my money and pay my bills. With Holly's help and in believing me, and Strive has also allowed me to focus on my goals. My big accomplishment was to start my own business, selling customized clothing and accessories. My business name is called Picking Up the Pieces, and I've been doing this on my road to success. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to YWCA, Strive, Nikki Bailey, and Holly Marshall. I wouldn't be standing here today without Strive help and support. I hope Strive continues to help younger women like myself to overcome their barriers and rise above their struggles. What I learned today is not what you do, it's how you do it. Work hard, not work smart, not hard. Thank you, Strive. Thank you, Holly, and thank you, the YWCA, for everything you guys have done for me.
We are so proud of the remarkable strides you've made at YWCA. I would like Ashley to come up and join us as well. I really appreciate that both of you shared your stories. So proud of both of you. Your work, your courage, your fortitude, they're inspirations to all of us. So just keep up the good work. We're sharing a certificate for Terriana and Ashley. Give these to you. Okay. To acknowledge the great work they've done to build stability in their own lives and put themselves on a path to success. So thank you both.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. We we have 2 additional honorees we hope all of you have met as you visited the program tables, and I hope you've been going around doing the games and having a little fun there. First, let's welcome Ceola Brown, a YWCA St. Paul Housing and Supportive Services participant. She's been in YW's housing program for about a year. Ceola has made great steps to achieve a stable home life for herself and for her children. Early on in the program, she focused on being a better mother to her children to make sure they will always be okay. She recognized that how she supports them now will make a big difference to their futures. Now Ceola is often referred to as a super mother. She works hard to support her children's education and health care needs and is always there to support other moms and kids in her neighborhood. It's wonderful the way she has helped build a village of support for others who need it. She's dedicated to providing a bright future for herself and her children and is well on her way to doing so. Ceola has said that she doesn't know where she'd be without the motivation and support she received from YWCA St. Paul. We've been privileged to walk with her on this journey. Congratulations, Ceola. Please come on up. She stepped away, so I'm going to invite her back when she's back here. And I'm going to recognize our other program participant. If you visited the youth development table, you met Mas Ka. Mas participates in YWCA's youth employment program, and through that participated in a paid internship hosted by World Youth Connect. Through this program, youth learn to use their voices as they build leadership skills while serving their communities. Mas collaborated with peers for months to outline what would become a community conversation on the topic of mental health as it relates to young people. He was the facilitator of an online event where more than 50 young people, along with community leaders, educators, and parents, discussed the stigma around mental health and violence, and mental health during the pandemic. Mas's drive to move from ideation to creation of an online community discussion on this topic was itself a huge accomplishment. But his efforts also served as a catalyst for community leaders and youth to continue to work to destigmatize mental health concerns and to work towards better access to mental health care for everyone. Congratulations, Mas. Please come up. I'd like you and Ceola to come on up to the stage. Did you get the pictures? Stop right there, let me get the picture.
My goodness, Gay, the work that you do is amazing. And I know that the YWCA is not alone. You partner with many good people in this community, don't you? And each year, the YWCA St. Paul honors the best of the best. Last year, YWCA St. Paul named Minnesota Lynx assistant coach Rebecca Brunson the organization's 2021 Change Maker. And this year, Coach Brunson will hand the baton off to another amazing change maker in our community. Rebecca, take it away. Where are you?
Hi, friends of the YWCA St. Paul. I am so thrilled to be able to share this message with you this afternoon. I was incredibly proud to receive the Change Maker Award last year, and this afternoon, it brings me great joy to pass the baton to Angela Davis, the host of NPR News and Angela Davis, a weekday talk show that airs every morning on Minnesota Public Radio. Angela embodies the Changemaker Award. A well-known Twin Cities journalist, she's used her voice to lead conversations on a wide variety of topics ranging from Minnesota's persistent racial disparities and economic issues to education and mental health. The work she's done over the past 25 years to educate and inform the people of our state closely aligns with the mission of the YWCA St. Paul. Angela's leadership is on display daily as she asks the hard questions, creating a safe environment where uncomfortable conversations can take place. She introduces listeners to topics and voices that might otherwise not have a platform. Before joining NPR News, Angela anchored morning and evening newscasts on WCCO-TV and KSTP-TV, and she's won 5 regional Emmy Awards for anchoring and covering breaking news. Angela holds a journalism degree from the University of Maryland, go Terps, and also did graduate in urban affairs at the University of Texas. She is a member of both the local and national chapters of the National Association of Black Journalists. Thank you, Angela, for taking on the tough stories, for introducing your audience to perspectives that may not be known. You are an important voice in our community. And with that, I am honored to virtually present you with the YWCA St. Paul's 2022 Changemaker Award. Congratulations.
It's a great pleasure. I welcome Angela Davis to the stage.
Hey everybody, I promise I will make this brief because like you, I'm a little bit chilly right now. So I see you guys putting on your strong faces, but I know you're a little bit chilly. And also, I just want to offer congratulations to my fellow honorees tonight. Tariana Banks, I love your message. Congratulations to you, as well as to you, Ciola and Mas. Thank you. Congratulations to you. And standing here, it is a little bit creepy standing here, right, with everybody looking at you. But your messages were wonderful, and your work is admirable. So congratulations to you as well. I am so happy that we were able to gather again in person and go to in-person events. I have hugged so many people tonight. It's been really lovely, and I'm just happy to be able to see people in person and have eye contact with each other, because that's something I've really missed over the last 2 years, and I'm sure you have as well. There are many things that I love about the YWCA, and particularly the YWCA here in St. Paul. My kids are here tonight. They're both in college, and they probably don't remember, but they did their first swimming lessons here at YWCA St. Paul on Selby Avenue. Did y'all remember that? No? No? So I have some connections to the organization, and one of the many things I love about the YWCA is, of course, the motto, eliminating racism and empowering women. And I love it when I drive down Selby Avenue and I see those words on the front of the building there on Selby. It reminds me of the important work that still needs to be done here in St. Paul, across Minnesota, and across the nation. Well, when I learned I was selected to be an honoree, it made me think about what would someone see in me that would earn the title, or you would associate with the words change maker. Now, the first thing that came to mind is like, well, they know how old I am. I'm 54. They know I'm going through the change. So I talk about that on the radio a little bit, but I think they're talking about something else, right? Okay, right? You're talking about something else. Okay. So on my talk show that I host at Minnesota Public Radio, we get very personal and we just kind of share everything. It's a job that really puts me in a unique position of being heard. I'm very aware that my voice is being heard by tens of thousands of Minnesotans, across the state, in their homes, at work, walking their dogs, in many different settings. And so I never take that for granted. And I understand that there's a lot of power that comes with that, but also a lot of responsibility. So the team that I work with, and I work with a lot of people who help me. It's not just me that you're hearing on the radio. It's the work of some very talented and hardworking producers and editors. We're always thinking about what are the relevant conversations, what are the important conversations. We all know in talking with folks that a lot of times people assume assume they know a lot about something, and they really don't. So we see that hour as an opportunity to really create some understanding and bring some voices into the studio and on the air that, folks who've never been interviewed before, but even if they don't have college degrees and PhDs, they have lived experience and they are experts in what they have gone through. And there's just so much value in being able to hear from people and have them share their personal stories. It really can move us forward and help create some connections. So I'm so grateful that I have an opportunity to do that. Someone recently said to me, it's like, you sit in front of one of the most, powerful, important microphones in the state. And I had never viewed my job that way, but I appreciate that reminder. And this award reminds me of the responsibility that I have every day when I go into work. So please know that I don't take that lightly. And I love the fact that we have an opportunity now that people are opening their minds and opening their hearts and also opening their wallets and trying to find new ways to make Minnesota a better place to live, a more equitable place to live. So many people are still surprised that folks that they're meeting did not have the same experience that they had in elementary school, did not have the same experience in buying a home, did not have the same experience, when they went to school. And so there's still a lot that we have to learn about one another. And we need a safe place where we can have civil conversations. And that's what I try to do every day at 9 a.m. And I know I hear from many of you who call in, and the folks are really emotional right now. And the mayor talked about the grief and the trauma that we're all going through. But I know that in time that we're going to get to a better place, but we're only going to do that as a community, and we're only going to do it by listening to each other and talking to one another. So I am known as loving an uncomfortable conversation, and I embrace that, and I appreciate the YWCA St. Paul recognizing that can be a really powerful and great way for us to create change here in Minnesota. So thank you for this award. Thank you to everybody who came out tonight and was willing to be a little bit chilly, a little bit uncomfortable. I look forward to talking to you and hugging you in person if you'd like to do that. And again, congratulations to the other honorees. Thank you so much. This is pretty.
Oh my goodness. So what you all are doing at YWCA St. Paul is quite amazing. If any of our viewers online would like to support this work, I invite you to donate simply by visiting YW's website at www.ywcastpaul.org/sweet success. Now, as Gay joins me, there's so much that we have to talk about. I don't know about you, but I was inspired by Angela many, many years ago. We have hung out together. We have laughed together. No, don't tell a word. Don't say it. You know we party, girl. Come on now. We had a great time, my sister and I, with Angela. And we have some great leaders in this community. Not just Angela, but so many more of you in this room. And that includes you, Gay.
Oh, thank you, Jearlyn. Thank you. But I don't do this work alone. The YW team, our amazing board members, our donors, and our community all make this work possible. I want to thank our audience for taking the time to celebrate with us tonight. Those of you here and those of you watching at home. We simply could not do what we do without generous support from our friends and partners. So a special thanks to our Sweet Success sponsors. Our premier sponsor, 3M Open. Presenting sponsor, XL Energy. Supporting sponsors, 3M, Delta Dental, Securian Financial, and Barbara Trethaway and Michelle Beeman, as well as our anonymous supporting sponsors. Our allied sponsors, Mara and Landon Ashman, Brimmer Bank, Comcast, Annette Goff and Phyllis Goff, Beverly Jones Heidinger, Kathy Schubert, Spire Credit Union, Sunrise Banks, UCare, U.S. Bank Wealth Management, and Cassandra and Robert Yarborough. Our special guest, St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter, who always amazes me the way he speaks without a single note in front of him and manages to convey such a wonderful message. Sorry, that's my personal aside. Angela Davis, our amazing change maker, for the work you do in this community that's so meaningful for so many of us. Our Sweet Success participant honorees, Ashley Freeman, Tariana Banks, Ciola Brown, and Mas Cobb. Kudos and congratulations to you again. We thank our entertainers this evening, our vendors, again, our amazing board of directors for their support, and finally, the amazing and mighty YWCA St. Paul staff. Raise your hand so people can see you, those of you out here volunteering. What we hope you take away with you tonight is some sense of the thousands of lives we touch at YWCA St. Paul. Last year alone, our program served over 1,200 individuals and families. 260 homeless adults and children found a place to call home and benefited from our supportive services. 182 young people participated in our youth programs, 760 in our job training, helping them secure employment and family stability. Over 1,800 users benefited from our health and fitness center in person or virtually during COVID. And we reached over 5,000 through our racial justice programs over the past 2 years. I'm grateful we were able to reach so many despite the barriers and challenges of this pandemic. There are so many more who need our help, and with your help, we can do more. So please consider donating today. If you do, you will be transforming lives. And now, before we enjoy the final performance of the evening, I really want to thank this fabulous lady, Jearlyn Steele, for bringing your talent and your support to the work that we do. You're amazing.
Thank you so much, Kay. I am blushing, although you can't tell. I have really been honored to be with you tonight, and I hope our audience has enjoyed the show. Have you guys enjoyed it so far? Because I sure have. But we're not done yet. No. We know why we are here, right? We know why we have come here tonight. And I know that you are doing a beautiful job making sure that the YWCA St. Paul will get what needs to be done. So please join me in welcoming Brittany Delaney, spoken word artist, to the stage. Now, Brittany has prepared a special piece for today's event, and this will close the program for our virtual audience. We thank you for joining, and don't forget to make your donation. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it.
All right. So it's not often that I get a chance to introduce my pieces, but this poem, Layleen's poem, is dedicated to my mentor, who was a powerful Black woman who came through programs just like this, who pushed into higher education, who found me as a youngin', who pushed me to follow my dreams, from being a slam artist to being an arts educator to being a curriculum consultant, and now the executive director of Black Table Arts Cooperative in South Minneapolis. So it was only fitting that I do this piece that honors her. She passed in December of 2012, and her essence carries through. And in moments like these, where I wrote this piece like 6 months ago, and the title of this event is basically in the poem. So I know it was meant to be. It's only fair if I open this poem with a lesson. It doesn't matter if it fits in the line, it matters if you remember it. You always said that every year I owed it to myself to watch the sun rise on the east and set on the west, that everything worth keeping in this life I would find between those two sets. It's been a while since I've talked about you. It's not like I've forgotten. I mean, I layered the letters in your name between the vowels in my daughter, so even in moments I feel like I can't speak on it, I am calling you in. On the day you graduated to the ancestral plane, I could see the pressure on your fingertips. You were holding on for me, trying to get me to see that there is a love story in returning to that from which you came. You called it your first door, the home where the mortgage is only paid in time. And as much as I love a good metaphor, this home misses you. Nothing is the same without you here, and grief hardly ever rhymes. You told me resets are good. So I slept through several days waiting for the moment that new beginnings would feel okay. I'll never call you a liar. My roots are too Southern for that. You were telling a story. One so good, I still can't figure out the point, so I haven't put it down and I haven't let it go. You know that though. You pop up in between moments and spaces only I can see, our little corner, the world we made for ourselves, the unpoppable bubble, my never-ending visitor. I see you often in my daughter's side eye, in my son's stubbornness. I want you to know that I became the type of parent who encourages this. These babies have voices, just like the one you helped me dig out of myself. They are master sculptors at just 7 and 9, so clear about their roots, the flowers, the garden we made, and they didn't get a chance to meet you while you were on this plane, but I know you caught them in passing. I can smell your essence in their spirits, the only place you would ever be okay with hiding. I often think about the day we met. A happenstance, the misreading of a sign, a barging into my dressing room, my universe untwisting a little. Thank God you didn't get those glasses fixed or you would have missed me in your blind spot. And I don't know what made me drop the bricks in my hand, but thank God muscle memory failed me, or maybe it didn't. I am always losing things and finding new ones. We were like tree and apple. You didn't care whose limbs gave birth to me, who dropped me, who left me in the field wandering, where the bruises came from. You were grateful for my relationship with the soil that made you far more familiar than DNA could ever have. And I would say I could see through you, but in fact, I could only see into you, and I never wanted to go further than that. I only wanted the door in, just like the one you found on my skin. It took a while for me to feel my breath again, to figure out the pieces that losing you redacted, but you taught me to always walk through the door, so I started looking for you by doing just that. And I would say you wouldn't believe where it led me, but you saw too far ahead for that. If the first door is my beginning, then the second was my classroom, and the third was the heart of every young person who ever trusted me, and the fourth was my children, the best door I've ever had. Door 5 gave me a godson, the brightest of my lights. His door, like mine, was an accidental discovery between glasses. I inherited your sight, and I know you had something to do with this. You always said lessons don't become yours until you put your twist on them, and while I never added more than MID, it worked out for what came next. He was born in the East and settled in the Midwest. I pushed my son to rise just as sure as the sun sets. That's my apple. I don't care what tree he came from. I would tell you, I taught him the beauty of the soil, but he came to me a garden, and this poem is more about that than anything else. The sweetness of success is only tasted by those who know first how to honor themselves, those who offer their spirits to the rest, those who deserve to smell the flowers before their final rest. This is the most important lesson you left me, so I honor myself and those around me. I bless those who pave highways through isms with the same energy that you had when you found me. You always said to take my roses in while I can smell them, so I fell in love with the gardener and I started my garden. I have to believe that one day the door I open will lead me back to you. But until then, I will plant pieces of your essence in everything I do, because apples never grow far from trees they belong to. Maybe the door is in the soil. Maybe I need to lay in the grass. Whatever the lesson is, I'll put my twist on it. It doesn't matter if it fits right now. It matters that I remember it.
I don't know about you, but I have truly been moved this afternoon, or this evening. And of course, we have to welcome back to this beautiful stage. As soon as that stops singing, of course, we're going to welcome Thomasina Petrus and her band. So give it up for her.
Thank you so much. So as we're walking up here, I'm gonna put him on Front Street. He said, "We're not the Her Band." But I have to remind him, this is the YWCA. This is all about her. So today you are the Her Band. Tom West on keys, Nathan Norman on the drums, and behind me the fabulous Ron Avenue. So we're gonna warm you up with this next one. Thank you all for coming out and sharing in this wonderful event. We're going to try to heat you up a little bit, as much as we can, with a little fever. Hey, hey. She said, Daddy, 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 don't you dare. He gives me this fever way. Hold me tight, Daddy. I wanna be his Mrs. You better treat. Daddy, 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 you better treat me right. Daddy, 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 you better treat me right. You better take that breath and get it. Hey, oh, you know, Hey, that looks so good. Know what you should. Baby girl, I love you. Captain Smith loved them some Pocahontas. They had this very bad, very wild affair. And when her daddy came to court, she begged, she pleaded, she said, Daddy, 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 don't you dare go see me. He gives me this feeling the way he, oh, the way he holds me tight. I wanna be his Mrs. Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. Treat him right, everybody. Gets this feeling. This is something we all learn. It's such a new thing.